Hello, hello, hello. So today's video on the channel is going to be something a little out of the ordinary because this is a travel vlog video. So last month, BIQU was kind enough to fly me along with two other members of the Voron design team, Steve Builds and Doc, out to China to attend TCT Asia in Shanghai, and then swing on down to Shenzhen to visit the BIQU Bittree Tech factory and offices for a tour. Now, there will be some dedicated videos coming out in the next little bit of the actual TCT Asia show, along with the tour of BIQU Bittree Tech. This was the first time ever traveling to China, and honestly, it's not something I ever thought I would be doing in my life, and it just blew me away and just exceeded my expectations in a good way. So there's a lot to go over and talk about, so let's just dive into it. So first things first, the flight. I live in Canada, in case you didn't realize that from the channel name, but I flew out of Detroit. For me, it's a hop, skip, and a jump across the border. There's more flight options, and it's a closer international airport to where I live in Canada. So the first leg of my flight was from Detroit to Seattle, where I met up with Steve Builds, and we were both on the same flight from Seattle to Shanghai. Other than being a long flight, it was pretty uneventful. Fun fact, it was actually pretty easy to keep the time difference in mind because it's an exact 12-hour time difference from my time zone, Eastern time zone, and the time zone in China. And also another fun fact about China, the entire country uses the same time zone. So no matter where you are in China, you're in the same time as everyone else in China. So we landed in Shanghai late afternoon, and the first day we really didn't do anything. We took a Didi, which is basically the Chinese equivalent of an Uber, from the airport to our hotel and turned into the night. But before going to bed, Luke from Bittree Tech had to antagonize the poor robot trying to make a delivery.
It's gonna reach out and slap it.
Leave the robot alone. Now, the next day was the first day of the show itself, and since there will be a dedicated video on the whole TCT Asia portion of the trip, I'm not going to dive into the show itself too much in the travel vlog, but it was really cool. Bittree Tech as our host, and again, thank you to Bittree Tech and BIQU for flying us out for this event. There'll be links in the video description below to check them out. They arranged for some events at their booth during the show, a fan meetup, a live stream both on YouTube, and with actually some members of the 3D printing community on Bilibili. It was really cool to meet up with members of the Voron community or just the general 3D printing community over in China. It's quite a large group, you would be surprised. But because of the Great Firewall, there really isn't a lot of overlap in communication between the Western 3D printing community and the Chinese 3D printing community. So that was really cool to see. So the first day of the show was pretty cool, a lot of things to see, mostly hanging out the booth and just kind of getting the feel of the show itself. The first night, we had hot pot for dinner. I had never had hot pot. For those that don't know, the biggest fear I had on this trip was the fact that I'm a very picky eater. I expanded my palate quite a bit during this trip, and also I had to learn how to use chopsticks very quickly because that was really the only option a lot of the time, so you get good at it quick. But we met up with some members of E3D who happened to be attending the show as well for some hot pot dinner. That was really cool. Second day of the show was more of the same, meeting community members, taking the show in, recording some videos. After the show, though, we did go out to a Western-style barbecue place for dinner. And we had some members and influencers from the Chinese 3D printing community join us for dinner as well. Really cool to chat with, and the food was good. The food was really good on this trip. And so that was the second day. The third day, pretty much again, more of the same in the morning, visit the show, but the show ended a little bit earlier in the day, and then we went out on some adventures. We took a Didi down to downtown, I guess it's the downtown area of Shanghai. So if you've seen the tourist area of Shanghai, you've probably seen this shot. The tower, the radio tower, some of the buildings around it. I'm pretty sure this building is actually from The Dark Knight, if I'm not mistaken. The area is called the Bund, if you want to look it up. And we took a water ferry across the river, and we walked up to the radio tower, and we went up to the top of it. It was pretty cool to see the city from a high vantage point as the sun was setting. It is very much a tourist trap type location if you've ever been to somewhere like Niagara Falls or New York or something like that. It's you know the kind of tourist trap location, but it was cool watching the sunset on the city. And as the sun sets, the lights come out. A lot of these buildings have LEDs on the outside, and they'll play patterns, fish, advertisements, just cool things. It's really cool to see the city light up as the sun sets. And don't worry, they do turn the lights off at like 10 or 11 p.m., so it's not like they're blasting into your hotel room at night. Oh, is it true? This is trippy as shit. So taking in the sights, looking out over the glass floor, it was really cool to see the city from this vantage point. And then for dinner, we went to a craft brewery because surprisingly enough, there's actually a pretty decent craft beer scene in Shanghai apparently. So we went out for dinner at a craft brewery. It was nice. Now, the Thursday was the first day that we actually did quote-unquote tourist stuff. The first 3 days of the trip were mostly the show and then going out for dinner afterwards, but the Thursday was going to be a travel day for us in the afternoon. So the morning, we went down to this place here, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, and it was really cool to see. A lot of older Chinese-style buildings. It was a market area, so there's vendors everywhere. Lots of food, lots of trinkets, lots of homemade stuff, and traditional tourist trap type market stuff. Saw a lot of cool stuff. It's a river village, so you saw these little boats everywhere, very reminiscent of Venice. Lots of older style architectural buildings, a Buddhist temple. There was some granny tourist group that was very enamored with Steve Bild's beard, and they wanted to take all the pictures with him. A lot of OSHA non-compliant staircases and railings, but it's an old area of China, so it's kind of cool that they kept it original and it's not all modernized. If you step a couple feet outside of this area, you're back in modern China. It's a very jarring dichotomy. But this was really cool. Walked around, saw some good doggos. There was lots of good doggos there, along with a cat cafe. And literally right outside the front door was a Papa John's pizza. So it was definitely a mishmash of old and new China. And then after that, we had to get down to Shenzhen. And for that, we took the bullet train. Now, I had never been on a bullet train. Here in North America, trains suck. They just suck. There is no high-speed rail in North America, basically. So the bullet train was definitely an experience. If I were to do it again, I would fly just because it is quicker, so we could have spent more time in Shenzhen on the first night, because we did get in pretty late because the train is slower. It does go 350 kilometers an hour, though, but it was buttery smooth, it was quiet, and legroom for days compared to a plane. Going almost 350 kilometers an hour on a bullet train between Shanghai and Shenzhen, and I've got a yellow steam bun. Life is good. Yeah, I want more high-speed rail in North America. I'm sold on it. And then we got to Shenzhen. So the first night in Shenzhen was very much like the first night in Shanghai. We got to our hotel, checked in, and went to bed. It don't want to come down. Well, okay, strip light, night light, no. No. Well, good thing I'm by myself, because, there wouldn't be any privacy when using that. Got all that. Got me, hello. I mean, it's pretty nice. Does it move? And oh, we got a light, bathrobe, slippers, and the bed. And is it like the other bed where it's rock hard? Oh, this one's actually, this bed's soft. So that's good. So yeah. Hotel room in Shenzhen. And if you're wondering about the view, there's the view. And then we did the tour. So the very first day we woke up and walked over to the BIQU office. So their office was like 5 minutes from the hotel on foot, nice walking distance. And we hung out there for the day. So we did a tour of the BIQU office. We went out to their PCB fab location, which is actually outside of Shenzhen itself. Due to property prices, a lot of the manufacturing takes place just outside the city. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to visit their CNC location because they have a separate factory for CNC, but I do have some B-roll of it here, so voila. And then they also do have a warehouse as well, which, let's just say, when you let a couple of 3D printing nerds free in a warehouse full of 3D printing accessories and say, have at her, my luggage was pretty full on the trip back. But that was the first day in Shenzhen. It was pretty much just touring BIQU, Big Tree Tech, and yeah, it was fun. There will be a dedicated video on the BIQU tour as well. And by the way, for those that don't know, Big Tree Tech is a part of BIQU. BIQU is the proper name of the company. But since we, at least my community and myself, since I normally deal with Big Tree Tech because they're the ones that do the controller boards and the accessories for 3D printers, I'm going to flip-flop between calling them BIQU and Big Tree Tech through this whole video in case you haven't noticed. But after the tours, we went out for dinner. It was good. Again, the food was all good. And walking back to the hotel, we saw the dancing grannies. This is a thing over there. At night, when the sun goes down, the grannies come out. They get into their little group in town square areas and they dance. They all play different music in the different groups. It's not coordinated. So you're hearing multiple different songs playing while different groups of grannies dance, and that's just what they do every night. It's pretty cool to see. Also, a lot of other people out on the street, night markets, a group of kids doing some break dancing. Later that night, I actually just checked out of my hotel by myself and just went and wandered for like 2 hours. So yeah, it's like a little after 10 here, and I'm heading back to my hotel, but like, I just spent the past hour here in Shenzhen, China by myself, wandering around the night markets, and it's fine. It's other than like obviously language differences and some cultural differences, like it's like every other foreign country I've been to. I feel fine. I'm not like, it's normal. In fact, one thing that's really tripping me, everything's quiet. Like it's 10 o'clock at night of a city of like what, 20 million, and you don't hear much other than just people walking about because everything's electric here. All the mopeds are electric, all the cars are electric. It's quiet. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to my hotel and enjoy a nice quiet night of sleep, except for the horns. They like to use their horns a lot here, but good night. And now it's the weekend. It's Saturday, which actually also happened to be my birthday, and apparently in China, you get birthday ramen. So somebody squealed to the hotel that it was my birthday and they brought it out for me. And this was the shopping day. This was the day we went to the mythical Chinese Shenzhen electronic market. And oh my God, it was an experience. So Doc, where are we off to?
We are going to the Shenzhen Electronics Market.
We are going to spend some money. And it's gonna be fun. You happy, Steve? You excited?
Very
You excited? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
This is one of those like nerd life bingo moments.
Yeah,
It's like,
if you ever get the chance and you're a nerd or an electronics enthusiast, Shenzhen Tech Market.
it's like this in Akihabara, and I'm probably saying it wrong, in Tokyo.
Yep.
It's like this and that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna play a bunch of footage here and I'll let it speak for itself. Subway time. I've actually never been on a subway, so the first time going on a subway in China. Okay.
Agree.
Holy shit, cat girls are real in China.
I could probably do with some more NeoPixels. I don't know what I'll do with them, but I don't have them.
Well, we're made it to the electronics market. Time to go shopping. Woo.
Thanks. Just for resistors.
Drones everywhere. Andy.
Here's your graphics card,
Yeah.
man.
Yep, well, there's another floor, so.
First lines. In the shop, like just projecting random stuff in the background.
I just like had a moment of anxiety. The violent fan.
It's like, do you even need Micro Center? And sometimes part of the fan isn't enough. You need the whole fan.
Excuse us.
And sometimes you got to be careful because your Logitech is a logistics.
There a while, given the amount of dust on it.
This is like the only 3D printer we found so far.
Oh, jeez.
And 10 floors later, we finally reached the top. And more computer parts and accessories. Holy shit. It never ends. Okay, so that was a fun day of shopping. It's been we've walked a lot.
Yes.
And we've gone vertical quite a bit. It's all stacked. So, Doc, what did you think?
It was, I believe, overwhelming is the right term. Like it is.
We did not see everything. It's you can't see everything in one day. It's insane, but kind of not what I was expecting, but not disappointing. I guess
it was an eclectic assortment of everything.
Yeah.
From like, I saw an old iMac from like 2008 or something. Whatever the like Pixar logo looking like lamp thing was.
It's like a mixture of like a mom and pop computer store with a Micro Center with like a Radio Shack. Like it's a little bit of everything and it's all over the place. So like if you don't go down this one aisle, you'll miss what you're looking for. It's really
There's a flying saucer.
it's a bit of everything. What did you think, Steve?
What?
It's the in-person AliExpress, right?
All right.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for and where to look, you're probably not going to find it. But to cap it off, they got flying cars here. They got to start with flying cars, a plane, and a UFO. I mean, like, it's a little bit of everything all over the place. So that's the Shenzhen electronics market, or what we were able to see. So, cheers. And to cap off the whole day and the trip itself, we went out for dinner. Eric, the CEO of BIQU Tech, took us out for dinner at a nice, I think it's hibachi style restaurant. Again, this is not something I've ever been to, and it was amazing food. And of course, somebody squealed that it was my birthday again, so I got to wear a little hat, and they sung me happy birthday and brought me out a cake. And Eric was nice enough to buy me a car. But yeah, the food was absolutely amazing. I, again, am a very picky eater, and they had stuff I would normally not ever attempt to eat, and I don't know how the cook did it, but everything was delicious. And a week goes by quick, so the trip is pretty much over at this point, and now we gotta head home. So the flight back was a lot longer than the flight there, unfortunately. We flew from Shenzhen, or at least I flew from Shenzhen to Seoul, Seoul to Minneapolis, and then Minneapolis to Detroit, and then a 45-minute drive home from the Detroit airport to my house, crossing the Canadian border. I do again want to give a huge shout out to Doc and the fact that he travels a
lot for work, so he has all the miles, and he was able to sneak me into the VIP lounges at the Shenzhen airport and the Seoul airport. So thank you, Doc, for getting me in those. But yeah, again, amazing trip. I spoke about this whole trip much more in depth on a live stream. I'll have it linked in the video description below. I went through the entire picture album and whatnot. So if you want to learn more about the trip, go check that out. And again, I want to give a massive, huge thank you to BIQU and the entire team that helped us with this trip, flew us out. Huge thank you to Rich from Big Tree Tack. He was basically our chaperone for a lot of this trip and translator. And yeah, if I could summarize this trip at the end here, I'm just going to say it blew away all my expectations. Obviously, when you're traveling to a foreign country, you have some preconceived notions, and many of them were just flipped on their heads. I'm not going to go into a huge spiel trying to sound like a travel agent telling you should go to China because it's amazing, but I will say this was an amazing trip, and I had a ton of fun, and I'll be honest, I kind of want to go back. It was definitely an experience. So again, huge thank you to BIQU for flying us out there. Cheers to Steve and Doc for joining me on this trip. It was great, and yeah, I don't know, like the smash button, subscribe, ring the bell, blah, 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 YouTube stuff I'm supposed to say. Not at the very end, because at this point you've probably already clicked off the video. But if you're still here, what did you have for lunch? Because I'm actually kind of hungry while editing this. What did you have for lunch? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Taylor, the Canuck creator, and cheers.